Hello viewers, I hope you are doing fine. In the last video on select function, we learned its basic usage. We could able to select the columns from the dataset based on its name or position in the data frame. So if you have not watched my part 1 video, you may watch it by clicking through a link which I mentioned in the description of this video. Fine. So in the last video we used gapminder dataset, and it was a very simple dataset. It had only 6 columns, that is 6 variables, and those columns can be easily accommodated in a screen all at once. So it was very easy to check which columns got selected, and you can figure it out what's going on. But not all the datasets that you will encounter in real world are as simple as gapminder data. There could be some datasets that may have many variables in it. For example, genomic data typically has multiple columns running sometimes into hundreds. So how you are going to select the columns from such a wide dataset? So we need some way by which we can quickly select the column by simply matching the character pattern from the names of the variable. Selection helpers, which we are going to see in this video, do exactly that. They match the variable patterns from the column names and select the columns based on that matching pattern. There are 6 selection helpers. The first one is starts with an exact prefix, ends with an exact suffix. So start with and ends with selection helpers. Select the column based on exact prefix and exact suffix. Then you have contains a literal string. Matches, if you want to use the regular expression, then you can use matches selection helper. And finally the num range, matches a numerical range like x0, x02, x03. Let's see these selection helpers. 1. So let's start with starts with and ends with selection helpers. In this video, we are going to use the data from NYC Flights 13 package. This package consists flight data, and the data comes from US Bureau of Transportation Statistics. Now, as usual, I am going to start with loading the tidyverse package, and I'm going to install NYC Flights 13. Load it again. Load this package now. 13. Right. So load this tidyverse library. Load in my Flights 13 library. Package is already installed on my PC, so I'm not going to install it again. And if you are interested in checking the datasets that contain within a particular package, not only with the NYC 13 package in particular, but with any package that you install, what are the datasets that come along with that package? You can use the data function followed by the name of the package. NYC Flight 13. let's check. Yeah, so these are the different data sets that are part of the setting package. Data set on airlines has airline names, airports which has airport metadata, has a flights data, all the data related to flights, planes metadata, and the weather, hourly weather. Right? So I'm interested in using the flights and weather data. So let's quickly glance at the data using glimpse function. Glimpse weather. Let's check what it has. So here we go. It has 26,115 rows and it has 15 columns. So quite a lot of columns here as compared to the Gapminder dataset, and it has all the columns related to the various weather parameters. Right? Now let us see what all contains in flights data. Now in flights data, this data is a bit bigger, and the weather data, it has 336,776 rows and 19 columns, and it has all the data related to the flights. So what is departure time, what is the scheduled arrival time, is there any delay, what is the destination, what is the origin, and so on. Okay. So now let's say that from this flights dataset, I am interested in selecting the columns with the prefix departure, DEP. Okay, so it's pipe operator, but remember one thing, you will have to put in the selection helpers inside the select function. Okay, select function followed by the selection helpers. In this case, I'm going to use starts with selection helper, and I'm going to write down the prefix. What is a prefix? DEP. Saying that select the column with prefix, starting with the prefix DEP. So let's see. Yeah. So it has given me the column starting with the prefix DEP. Okay. Now in similar way, I am interested in selecting the columns ending with suffix time. So ends with will be the selection helper I'm going to use, and the suffix as the has given me all the columns having the suffix ending with the suffix. Right? You can also supply multiple prefixes or suffixes. Note how the order of the variables depends on the order of the suffixes and prefixes. For example, from this weather data, I am interested in selecting the columns with prefixes wind and time. Okay, wind and time. So I'm going to use the character vector of suffixes. Execute this, then you can see that given me the columns prefixes wind and time. Okay, similarly, if I am interested in selecting the columns with suffixes hour and gust, UST, similar manner, use ends with followed by the vector of suffixes. In this case, I'm going to select out the columns suffix first and hour. Yeah, here you go. First, it has also given me the power and it has also given me the time. Now let's see the next selection helper contains. It selects the columns whose names contain a word. Okay. So I'm going to use in this case the plains dataset. Plains has information of all the plains, and from this dataset I am interested in selecting columns that contain the combination of the word en. So plains select contain what it contains. It contains the character combination en. Okay, so if I execute this, then it gives me the two columns which has the character en in it. Okay, you can not only use the character combination it contains but also the special characters. So from where the data, I am interested in selecting the columns that have underscore in it. So whether select contains, print out those columns which has underscore in its names. So you can see that it has given me all the columns which has underscore in its name. So contains can be used. It's a very flexible selection helper. It can be used with the combination of character, or you can also use the special character to select columns. Now the starts with, ends with and contain selection helpers do not use regular expressions in their pattern matching. So there is one helper function called matches which uses a regular expression that gives it additional flexibility over other members. So let's use matches function and see how we can use the flexibility of regular expressions in selecting the columns. So I'm going to use the data set, and I'm going to select columns which starts with the character W. Okay, so I'm going to use a regex, select matches followed by the regex. Now in this case I'm going to use a caret symbol followed by the character. So this will going to give me all those columns starting with character W. Let's make the things little bit complicated. In this case I am going to select the columns which has either W or I or both these characters in it. So for this I'm going to use the square brackets, and within the square bracket I'm going to put in these two characters. So execute this, then this will give me all those columns which contains either I character or W character or both W and I character. So can you see how much flexibility now we have by simply using the regular expressions with this matches help selection help. Now let's have a look at the last selection helpers, num range. Now if you have the numbers as a part of a column name, then you can use num range function. We will use the billboards data, so limbs billboard, and this dataset is about the rankings of all the songs. Okay, it gives the rankings of all the songs featured in Billboard 100 ranking list in the year 2000. And you can see all these week columns, week 1, week 2, week 3, all these week columns. These columns indicate the rank of the song. For example, if I refer to week 4, this number indicates the rank of the song in each week after it entered into the top 100 list. After this particular song entered into top 100 list, what is the ranking of this song in the week 4? Is this number significant? If you want to see this data in a nice tabular form, so let's print out the first 6 observations. I'm going to use a head function, head billboard. So you can see the name of the artist, track, and all the weeks rankings. Okay, so now what I'm interested in looking at the ranking for these songs in the first 10 weeks after they have entered into a top 100. So billboard in select function. Here I'm going to use num range as the selection helper. I'm interested in add week columns followed by the range of the numbers. I'm interested in first 10 weeks. So it will give me the first 10 weeks, but we need something more. We would like to understand the name of the artist as well as the track. So this will be select function will be followed by the name of the artist. Yeah, going to add some more columns. Yeah, now here it is. So we have artist, track, and I can see the first 10 weeks how it is, how that particular track is getting, the ranking of that particular track is getting changed. So this is how you can able to select the name, select the columns. They have numbers in their description. Now we have come to the last part of the video. You can also use selection helpers using AND or logic combination. So for example, from this flights dataset, I want to select the columns that contains the underscore, and so I'm going to use the AND symbol, ends with suffix time. So it should give me all those columns which has underscore as a part of the name and it's ending with the suffix. Okay, so you can use either the AND operator, which signifies the intersection, or operator, which signifies the union of the. Okay, similarly flights, you can use the OR operator as well. So starts with departure as suffix, followed by the OR operator, ends with time as a starts with departure as prefix and ends with time as a suffix. So it's an OR symbol. That means it will give me all those columns which has prefix as departure or time as a suffix. Okay. So let's quickly recap what we have learned in this video. We have seen 6 selection helpers. Starts with it matches the name pattern with column prefix. Ends with it matches the name pattern with the column suffix. Contains matches the pattern with the string matching. Matches you can use the regular expression with the matches. And finally the numbering. It selects the columns if they have numbers as a part of column names. And all these selection helpers can also be used with logical operators, AND operator and OR operator. Also seen examples. Fine, we have come to the end of the video. It's time to wrap up. If you are liking this video, then you may like to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to smash that bell icon so that you will get the notifications. I will see you soon. Goodbye and take care.